RPG games. Some of our most beloved games are RPGs. You are watching GNN, and this is Top 10 RPG Games of All Time. Dragon Age: Inquisition. Dragon Age: Inquisition is an action role-playing video game developed by BioWare and published by Electronic Arts. The third major game in the Dragon Age franchise, Dragon Age: Inquisition is the sequel to Dragon Age: Origins and Dragon Age 2. The game was released worldwide in November 2014 for Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Xbox 360, and Xbox One. The story of Dragon Age: Inquisition follows a player character known as the Inquisitor on a journey to settle the civil unrest in the continent of Thedas and close a mysterious tear in the sky called the Breach, which is unleashing dangerous demons upon the world. The Inquisitor is viewed by some as the Chosen One, as they have a mark on their hand capable of closing the breach. The Inquisitor assembles the titular Inquisition in an attempt to stop Corpheus, an ancient darkspawn, who opened the breach in an attempt to conquer Thedas. Gameplay of Dragon Age: Inquisition is similar to its predecessors and mostly consists of elements found in a typical action role-playing game. Players control their customized Inquisitor, and the companions they meet. They can defeat enemies with swords and magic, complete side quests, interact with non-playable characters, and progress through the main story. Players mainly control their protagonists in a third-person view, though a traditional role-playing game top-down camera angle is also available. After the release of Dragon Age 2, the Dragon Age series was seen by some as a series with an identity crisis. As a result, BioWare sought to create a third Dragon Age game that combined the elements of the first two. Having begun development in 2011, the game was officially announced at the 2013 Electronic Entertainment Expo. The game's soundtrack was primarily composed by Trevor Morris, who replaced Anand Zur, the composer of the Dragon Age: Origins and Dragon Age 2 soundtracks. Several downloadable content expansion packs were also released. Dragon Age: Inquisition received critical acclaim upon release, with critics praising its story, voice acting, soundtrack, detailed environments, and engaging combat. The game did receive some criticism for the presence of technical issues. It was awarded over 150 year-end accolades and nominated for more, including Game of the Year and Best Role-Playing awards from several gaming publications. Secret of Mana. Secret of Mana, originally released in Japan as Seiken Densetsu 2, Legend of the Sacred Sword 2, is a 1993 action role-playing game developed and published by Square, now Square Enix, for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. It is the sequel to the 1991 game Seiken Densetsu, released in North America as Final Fantasy Adventure and in Europe as Mystic Quest, and it was the first Seiken Densetsu title to be marketed as part of the Mana series rather than the Final Fantasy series. Set in a high fantasy universe, the game follows three heroes as they attempt to prevent an empire from conquering the world with the power of an ancient flying fortress. Rather than using a turn-based battle system like contemporaneous role-playing games, Secret of Mana features real-time battles with a power bar mechanic. The game has a unique ring command menu system, which pauses the action and allows the player to make decisions in the middle of battle. An innovative cooperative multiplayer system allows a second or third player to drop in and out of the game at any time. Secret of Mana was directed and designed by Koichi Ishii, programmed primarily by Nazar Jebeli, and produced by veteran Square designer Hiramiki Tanaka. The game received considerable acclaim for its brightly colored graphics, expansive plot, ring command menu system, and innovative real-time battle system. Critics also praised the soundtrack by Hiroki Kikuta and the customizable artificial intelligence (AI) settings for computer-controlled allies. The original version was re-released for the Wiz Virtual Console in 2008. The game was ported to mobile phones in Japan in 2009, and an enhanced port of the game was released for iOS in 2010 and Android in 2014. The Witcher 3: Wild Hunt. The Witcher 3: Wild Hunt is an action role-playing video game developed and published by CD Projekt Red. Announced in February 2013, it was released worldwide for Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One in 2015. The game is the third in the series, preceded by The Witcher and The Witcher 2, Assassins of Kings, which are based on the series of fantasy novels by Polish author Andrzej Sapkowski. Playing in an open-world third-person perspective, players control protagonist Geralt of Rivia, a monster hunter known as a Witcher, who seeks his missing lover and his adopted daughter, who are on the run from a group known as the Wild Hunt. In the game, players battle against the world's many dangers using weapons and magic, while interacting with non-player characters and completing side quests and main missions to progress through the story. The game was met with critical acclaim, with critics praising its narrative, world design, combat and visuals, and was a commercial success, selling over 6 million copies in 6 weeks. The game won multiple Game of the Year awards from various gaming publications, critics, and award events, with some calling it the best role-playing game of all time. 2 critically successful expansion packs were also released for the game, titled Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine. Torchlight 2. Torchlight 2 is an action role-playing game developed by Runic Games, released for Microsoft Windows on September 20, 2012. It is the sequel to Runic's 2009 ARPG, Torchlight, and features peer-to-peer multiplayer support and extended modding capabilities. The game was released for OS X on February 2, 2015, and for Linux on March 4, 2015. Torchlight 2 features randomly generated dungeons for the player to explore, and numerous types of monsters to fight for experience and loot. Torchlight 2 maintains the same basic gameplay as its predecessor, but features overland areas with multiple hub towns, and a longer campaign. Other new features include time of day cycles, weather effects, and a redesigned user interface. Also, unlike the first game, some weapons and armor can only be used by certain classes, as opposed to all of them. Players are able to customize character appearance with choice of sex, face, hairstyle and hair color. Additionally, several elements from the first game return, such as pets, but now with expanded options and basic customization available, and fishing. A retirement system was originally planned, similar or identical to the one in the first game, but was replaced with the current New Game Plus mode. The Elder Scrolls V: Skyrim. The Elder Scrolls V: Skyrim is an open-world action role-playing video game developed by Bethesda Game Studios and published by Bethesda Softworks. It is the 5th main installment in the Elder Scrolls series, following the Elder Scrolls IV: Oblivion, and was released worldwide for Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 3, and Xbox 360 on November 11, 2011. The game's main story revolves around the player character and their quest to defeat Alduin the World Eater, a dragon who is prophesied to destroy the world. The game is set 200 years after the events of Oblivion, and takes place in the fictional province of Skyrim. Over the course of the game, the player completes quests and develops the character by improving skills. The game continues the open-world tradition of its predecessors by allowing the player to travel anywhere in the game world at any time, and to ignore or postpone the main storyline indefinitely. Skyrim was developed using the Creation Engine, rebuilt specifically for the game. The team opted for a unique and more diverse game world than Oblivion's Cyrodiil, which game director and executive producer Todd Howard considered less interesting by comparison. The game was released to critical acclaim, with reviewers particularly mentioning the character development and setting, and is considered to be one of the greatest video games of all time. The game shipped over 7 million copies to retailers within the first week of its release, and sold over 30 million copies across all platforms. 3 downloadable content, DLC, add-ons were released: Dawnguard, Hearthfire, and Dragonborn, which were repackaged into the Elder Scrolls V, SKYRIM, Legendary Edition, which was released in June 2013. The Elder Scrolls V, SKYRIM, Special Edition, a remastered version of the game, was released for Windows, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4 in October 2016, which includes all 3 DLC expansions and a complete graphical upgrade, along with additional features. A port for the Nintendo Switch is planned for release in 2017. Titan Quest. Titan Quest is an action role-playing hack-and-slash video game developed by Iron Law Entertainment for Microsoft Windows personal computers. It was published by THQ in 2006. It was released on Steam in 2007, and later ported to mobile devices by Dotemu and released in 2016. Later versions were published by THQ Nordic. The story follows a player-created protagonist as they navigate ancient Greece, Egypt and China on a quest to defeat the Titans after they escape from their ancient prison. The gameplay is similar to the Diablo series, with player navigation being handled with a mouse-driven tile-based interface, and gameplay revolving around role-playing mechanics and real-time combat. An expansion, Titan Quest: Immortal Throne, was released in 2007. Titan Quest was envisioned by game designer Brian Sullivan as a role-playing game set in ancient Greece similar to Age of Empires. Production began in 2004 after a successful pitch to THQ. The script was written by Randall Wallace, while Sullivan acted as the designer. Despite being in a mythical setting, the team wanted to make the environments and towns feel as realistic as possible, leading to a large amount of research into ancient cultures. Enemies were inspired by the game's regional mythologies, with designs inspired by the stop-motion work of Ray Harryhausen. The music, composed by Scott Morton and Michael Verrett, was created to avoid the looping tracks of other games. First announced in 2005, Titan Quest received generally positive reviews when released, being both praised as a good example of the genre while at the same time being criticized for its traditional gameplay. Sales of the main game and its expansion have been estimated as approaching 1 million units. The mobile port was tricky for its developers due to adapting the game for touchscreen controls. Like the console version, it received positive reviews upon release. The engine and gameplay of Titan Quest later became the foundation for Grim Dawn, a video game developed by team members from Iron Lore following the studio's closure. In 2016, an improved and expanded Anniversary Edition was released and received very positive reviews. The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time is an action-adventure video game developed and published by Nintendo for the Nintendo 64. It was first released in Japan and North America in November 1998, and in Europe and Australia the following month. Originally developed for the 64DD peripheral, the game was instead released on a 256 megabit cartridge, the largest capacity cartridge Nintendo produced at that time. Ocarina of Time is the 5th game in the Legend of Zelda series, and the first with 3D graphics. It was followed by a direct sequel, The Legend of Zelda: Majora's Mask, in 2000. In Ocarina of Time, the player controls the playable character Link in the land of Hyrule. Link sets out on a quest to stop Ganondorf, king of the Gerudo tribe, from obtaining the Triforce, a sacred relic that grants the wishes of its holder. He travels through time and navigates various dungeons to awaken the sages, who have the power to seal Ganondorf away forever. Music plays an important role. To progress, the player must learn to play several songs on an ocarina. The game was responsible for increased interest in and sales of the instrument. Ocarina of Time's gameplay introduced features such as a target lock system and context-sensitive buttons that have since become common in 3D adventure games. In Japan, more than 820,000 copies were sold in 1998, making it the 10th best-selling game of that year. During its lifetime, 1.14 million copies of Ocarina of Time were sold in Japan, and over 7.6 million copies were sold worldwide. The game won the grand prize in the Interactive Art Division at the Japan Media Arts Festival, and won 6 honors at the 2nd Annual Interactive Achievement Awards. As of 2017, it is the highest-rated game on review aggregating site Metacritic, with a score of 99/100. In 2008 and 2010, Guinness World Records listed Ocarina of Time as the highest-rated game ever reviewed. It is considered by many critics and gamers to be the greatest video game of all time. Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic. Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic is a role-playing video game set in the Star Wars universe. Developed by BioWare and published by LucasArts, the game was released for the Xbox on July 15, 2003, and for Microsoft Windows on November 19, 2003. The game was later ported to Mac OS X, iOS, and Android by SKYRIM, and it is playable on the Xbox 360 via its backward compatibility feature. The story of Knights of the Old Republic takes place almost 4,000 years before the formation of the Galactic Empire, where Darth Malak, a Dark Lord of the Scythe, has unleashed a Scythe armada against the Republic. The player character, as a Jedi, must venture to different planets in the galaxy in order to destroy the Starforge, Malak's military resources. Players choose from 3 character classes and customize their characters at the beginning of the game, and engage in round-based combat against enemies. Through interacting with other characters and making plot decisions, the alignment system will determine whether the player's character aligns with the light or dark side of the Force. The game was directed by Casey Hudson, designed by James Allen, and written by Drew Karpyshyn. LucasArts proposed developing a game tied to Star Wars, Episode II, Attack of the Clones, or a game set thousands of years before the prequels. The team chose the latter as they thought that they would have more creative freedom. Ed Asnor, Ethan Phillips, and Jennifer Hale were hired to perform voices for the game's characters, while the soundtrack was composed by Jeremy Soule. Announced in 2000, the game was delayed several times before its release in July 2003. The game received critical acclaim upon release, with critics applauding the game's characters, story, and sound. It was nominated for numerous awards, and is considered one of the best games ever made. A sequel, Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic 2, The Scythe Lords, developed by Obsidian Entertainment at BioWare's suggestion, was released in 2004. The series' story continued with the 2011 release of Star Wars: The Old Republic, Unmapped, developed by BioWare. Diablo 2. Diablo 2 is an action role-playing hack-and-slash video game developed by Blizzard North and published by Blizzard Entertainment in 2000 for Microsoft Windows, Classic Mac OS, and Mac OS X. The game, with its dark fantasy and horror themes, was conceptualized and designed by David Brevik and Eric Schaefer, who with Max Schaefer acted as project leads on the game. The producers were Matthew Householder and Bill Roper. Building on the success of its predecessor Diablo, 1996, Diablo 2 was one of the most popular games of 2000. Major factors that contributed to Diablo 2's success include its continuation of popular fantasy themes from the previous game and its access to Blizzard's free online play service Battle.net. An expansion to Diablo 2, Diablo 2, Lord of Destruction, was released in 2001. Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect 2 is an action role-playing video game developed by BioWare and published by Electronic Arts. It was released for Microsoft Windows and Xbox 360 on January 26, 2010, and for PlayStation 3 on January 18, 2011. Mass Effect 2 is the second installment of the Mass Effect series and a sequel to the original Mass Effect. The game takes place within the Milky Way galaxy during the 22nd century, where humanity is threatened by an insectoid species known as the Collectors. The player assumes the role of Commander Shepard, an elite human soldier who must construct and gain the loyalty of a diverse team in order to defeat the enemy in a suicide mission. With the use of a completed saved game of its predecessor, the player can impact the story of the game in numerous ways. For the game, BioWare changed several gameplay elements and put further emphasis on third-person shooter aspects, including limited ammunition and regenerable health. In contrast to the exclusive focus on the main story of the original Mass Effect, the developers opted to create a plot where optional missions had as much intensity as the main mission. Mass Effect composer Jack Wall returned to compose Mass Effect 2's music, aiming for a darker and more mature sound to match the mood of the game. Mass Effect 2 also supports a variety of downloadable content packs, ranging from single in-game character outfits to entirely new plot-related missions. Notable packs include Cassimy, Stolen Memory, Overlord, Lair of the Shadow Broker, and Arrival. Mass Effect 2 was a commercial success and received considerable acclaim from video game publications, with the Xbox 360 version holding a score of 96 out of 100 at the review aggregate website Metacritic. Critics praised multiple aspects of the game, including its interactive storytelling, characterization, and combat. In contrast, some reviewers expressed concerns about the game's simplified gameplay compared to the previous game in the series. The game received numerous year-end awards, including Game of the Year at the 14th Annual Interactive Achievement Awards, and Best Game at the 2011 British Academy of Film and Television Arts Awards. The game is frequently cited as one of the greatest video games of all time. If you liked the video, leave a like, comment and subscribe. For more videos every day.
It's Friday. Thank God, little homie, it's Friday. Let me get it.